Hi, I'm Edie from Embroidery by EdytheAnne. Today I'm going to be showing you how we do our mug mats that do not require any turning. This is done on wash away stabilizer, and after you get completely done with the design, then you're finished, except for trimming the stabilizer and just removing that little bit of stabilizer that's left because it's wash away, so you just wash it away. Now, this is number 2 of our series of mug mats, and number 1 was the turned mug mat. And that is, there's a link for that one below, which you can click on and go view that one. We have a discount code for the turned mug mat, and then we also have a discount code for this one. We're going to have a discount code for this one. And this one says, "Hi y'all," and it's a whimsical cow. There is no applique. This is completely done with just fill stitches. Now you do have a mug section that's a little different. This one is in a square, and you will have a front fabric and a back fabric. I like to use solids most of the time whenever there's going to be wording, because there's a competition between the prints, the wording, and the design. And if you notice, if you look through my mug mats and basically even wall hangings and most items that we have, the designs are stitched onto solid fabrics. Now, however, you can put a print on the back because you aren't going to see, or you aren't going to have any lettering or any design on the back. Just the bobbin thread of the satin stitch. And we also a lot of times put a motif design on top of the satin edging, and that secures that satin stitch. Satin stitches can fray, so putting that motif on there secures that satin stitch. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you, and I left my hoop over here, so I will get it. I have already put the placement line, stitched the placement line on the hoop. We have, I should point out also that in our mug mats, almost all of them come in a 5x7 and a 6x10 hoop size. This is the 5x7. And so I've already placed the placement line on there, sequence number 1. Now what you'll do, you'll first put the batting down, and you just lay that batting right over that placement line, and then take it to the machine, and the design will stitch the batting down. That batting will be slightly inside the placement line because it's helpful not to have batting sticking on the edges, and it kind of looks a little tacky sometimes if you don't get that clipped off very neatly. So it's easier just to stitch it on the inside a little bit. So we'll be tacking that down, we'll be trimming then that batting, and then we'll be putting the front fabric on. And I like to, almost always, I don't care how heavy the fabric is, and it's typically quilt cotton, and as you can see, this is a solid fabric. I like to use fusible Pellon 808 on the back of the mug mat, and that gives it a lot of stability to keeps it from puckering when you're doing your design. And like I said, this isn't going to have any applique to it. So once we start stitching, we're going to be stitching the whole design. So we have a couple of steps that has to be done initially to get it ready for that stitching, and that's what we're going to do right now. And I'll be taking this to the machine and start it right now. I also have the back fabric that I'm going to be using. Now you see this is a print, and sometimes if it's real lightweight, I like to interface it, and if it's heavy enough so where you can't see the stitching, the bobbin threads underneath, then I just leave it without the interfacing. So we'll get this started, and you'll see how quick and how fast and how easy and how much fun it is to stitch our mug mats. Now, the batting has been stitched down, and now all we have to do is just take our hopefully double curved scissors, which are really helpful when doing applique and trimming within the hoop projects. But you need a very sharp pair of scissors, and you want to be careful that you don't cut into the stitch lines, or the tack down lines. We just go all the way around. Now, once that's done, we're going to place that front fabric that I showed you. And it's got the Pellon 808 fused to the back side. And we'll lay that so that it's covering the entire area. And there will be the tack down. And then there will be the quilt design that goes down. And this is pretty standard, whether it's a turned mug mat or one that's finished in the hoop. Now what we'll be doing is going to the machine and do the quilt design. Now the quilt design has been finished, and there are some spaces left. The mug section space is left, and we're going to be getting ready to put the quilt design in that one. This is all part of the design. It's all part of the embroidery. You just follow the sequences. The quilting is included in the embroidery design. I get that question a lot. But yes, that's part. The quilt design has gone down, the mug section has gone down, and a portion of the cow has gone down. You can't see it too well because it's white on white. It probably would have been better to have used a beige fabric instead of white, but it will show up after all the other features get put on there. So now what we'll do is go to the machine, finish the design, and then I'll come back here and show you how we put the back on. finished the design, and we'll proceed now to put the back on. So I'm going to continue trimming this. This is the front. To the back after that is tacked down, and remove the excess from the back fabric. Now this is when you'll want to put the bobbin thread that you have wound that matches the top thread, and put that in your machine so that you get the same color on the back. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking this dark thread color to put the satin stitch down, and then I'm going to take the lighter shade to do the motif. So I have unhooped the mug mat and trimmed almost all of the stabilizer. And I wanted to show you, you trim right along, keeping the scissors away from the stitches. Just trim that till you've got maybe a 1/16 of an inch of stabilizer. You can take this now, run to the sink, run some hot water, warmish water, and just run it along. Let the water just run down through each edge, and that will remove the stabilizer from the edges. And that's really all you have to do. You can soak it if you like. A lot of our directions do say to soak it and to remove everything that's on the inside, but it really, I have found it's not really necessary. So there you go. Hope you enjoy. And don't forget, you have a discount code in the description for saving 75% on this mug mat.